Hey, what's up, guys? Back again, and got Kev here on the line. We're going to be covering Silva and Diaz and a bunch of other things. Kev, what's up?
What's going on, everybody? I hope you're tuned into this video. We've got some important news to bring to you, courtesy of myself and Steve. And I hope you guys are ready for this one. Let's take it away.
All right, let's get to it. Diaz and Silva, their 31st matchup is now basically out of the books. The win from Silva got taken away from Nevada, and rightfully so. I mean, the guy's on roids, and Diaz doing the weed. Not a big surprise on Diaz. And so, what are your thoughts on this?
I just want to say, just first of all on that topic, for any of those people out there, whether you're new to, like information about steroids or, you have that stereotype mentality of people that are on it are big jacked up guys that look like, I don't know, let's say, like bodybuilders, for example. That's not always the case. What you got to bear in mind is there's all different types of steroids and they're used as performance enhancing drugs, which are clearly illegal in the combat of mixed martial arts. So, same again, like, I agree with Steve, like, the reason to why this is now a no contest and the win was taken away from, from Anderson Silva was because, this is a form of cheating in the world of mixed martial arts. Like, you can't be using performance enhancing drugs because it does give you the advantage over the other opponent, increases your stamina, makes you as strong as an ox. It's literally like some guys that take that, like, their strength is just like superhuman. Like, it's like 4 times what they were before. So, maybe if we can debate on this, if he wasn't on it, would it have been a different outcome? But even still, steroids do not make you a better fighter. You still got to say it was Anderson Diaz, Anderson Diaz, there we go. Anderson Silva's night, because obviously he clearly outstruck Nick, despite Nick being the striker. Wow, what name, Anderson Diaz, eh, Steve?
Yeah, so I'm not the only one that can botch videos, eh?
Oh, yeah. It happens, it happens.
Yes, it does, sir. Yes, it does. And, like,
to summarize it, I'll just say, yeah, Anderson was the better fighter on the night, but obviously both me and you was rooting for Diaz. Obviously, he was the underdog. I felt like he could have got in there, do a bit of dirty boxing, kind of like close off the distance. And obviously Nick's known for his stand-up. It just wasn't his night, and it's a pity it went to decision as well. It would have been nice if, someone got finished, but, it was nice to see Anderson return after that long-awaited return from the injuries and stuff like that. But, yeah,
absolutely.
Unfortunate about what came out in the drug tests. But go on, continue, Steve.
Yeah, like, I'm echoing everything you said, and it was great to see him back. But this whole thing has tarnished his legacy, some will say. I'm tending to agree, because who knows how many more wins he has under his belt could be looked into.
In relation to drugs,
yeah.
Exactly. It could have been, covered up by Dana, as Anderson is one of his biggest draws. Now, a lot of people don't think, there's politics involved, but you'd be surprised when it comes to making money and what's best for the company.
Yeah.
Sometimes things like that get ignored, because you got to look at John Jones in recent events. He got tested positive for cocaine and other sources, some other drugs. And the thing is with that is, that was actually covered by Dana. And it was revealed after the fight when they got the test beforehand. So there's a lot of dodgy stuff going on, at the headquarters of UFC, so to speak. But I don't know, man. I'm with you on that one, Steve. Maybe there is a lot of, foolery going on here.
Yeah, and I was watching it, and Diaz looked strong. He pulled a bit of antics during the fight, and maybe just to try and get in Silva's head. But in the end, the steroids and the marijuana on Diaz both screwed him. And honestly, both of them, I believe I read Diaz retired so he wouldn't get any punishment.
Which is some way stupid and smart, but yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, obviously you know you did wrong, and you're gonna get punished for it. But if in the case of Silva, you're gonna get a slap on the wrist.
Well, he did a Wanderlei Silva, Wanderlei Silva. He literally ran away from the problem.
Mm-hmm.
When they came knocking on his door. But for Anderson Silva, just in general, it's a bad look for the sport.
Yeah.
He obviously, performance enhancing drugs and just any other illegal activities. It's not a good look, especially when these guys have got sponsors. Guys like John Jones. He's been with Nike. I believe he had a Reebok deal or something like that. Or Adidas. I don't know what he's working with now, but one of those big name brands, and he's completely shooting himself in the foot because every time he tends to fuck up, it usually is around the time where he's just got a new deal. So
yeah,
same again with John Jones, and it's funny because John Jones and Anderson Silva are quite close, and you know what I'm saying, like they're both up to no good. So there's a little bit of dodgy stuff going on, but who knows, man.
Mm-hmm. Moving on, you wanted to talk about Belfort, take it away, my friend.
I'll bring it to the people's attention. As you know, Chris Weidman got injured. Was it Steve? I believe he cracked a rib or something, some injury.
I don't know. I don't know what injury. I believe something related to his knee, or could be something. I don't know. I never really looked into it. All I know is that he only bought himself time, and.
I just want to say on that though, there's a big fight coming up. For those that know, for those that don't know, between Chris Weidman and Vitor Belfort. The fight is obviously for the title, the middleweight title.
Yeah, it was the 184 main event, and now it's canceled.
Yeah, Weidman had to pull out, and in the now it's obviously been postponed. And usually when that happens, they usually find somebody to fight the number one contender. Now, obviously, Vitor by rights deserves his title shot, but to not disappoint the fans, obviously Dana will obviously offer him opponents in which he'll take on to obviously remain the number one contender until Weidman's healthily recovered. So
and
with that is, as we saw recently with Gus, he was scheduled for another title shot that got postponed, and in the mix of it, he faced Anthony Rumble Johnson. And we saw how that went down. And
I don't think he has since recovered.
Yeah, in front of his hometown people, in Stockholm, over 20-odd thousand, and he ended in the first round. Rumble just dominated the guy, unfortunately. And this is probably what could happen to Vitor. He's literally the number one contender, and everything's up for grabs. So recently, this is what happened. He was offered to fight Leo Machida. I was first told this by Steve, and he turned that down.
Yeah.
Because we all know that Leo has everything to gain, so Vitor's not stupid, so he turned that down. And now in other sources, he's actually recorded turned down Gegard Mousasi, who just came off an impressive win over Dan Henderson. The Hendo, the legend. So I don't know. What do you think of this, Steve? Do you think that we're not anybody to say it's a bitch move because Vitor would hand our ass to us, both of us at the same time, literally.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm not
calling
anyone to say any fighter's a bitch because they would beat the fuck out of us. But what I will say is this, right? Is he clearly is dodging a big bullet in both Gegard Mousasi and Lyoto Machida. So what's your thoughts on that, Steve?
My thoughts are basically dodging them. I would say is a smart move for now because you're only gonna have time, and when you have time, you can rethink your strategy. But in the end, it's gonna come down to one of those guys and Belfort in the cage, and it's all gonna go down in the cage when the time is right. And I'm hoping for it. I mean,
and to me, I see it as a case of he knows that a lot's at stake, and if he was to slip up, obviously that's his number one contendership taken away from him. And what you got to bear in mind is his training camp was focused on Chris Weidman. So now as a replacement, as Machida or Mousasi,
that's weeks and weeks of training down the tube.
He hasn't been training for either one of those guys, so either one of those guys could easily, knock him out of the title picture. So I have to say, it was smart, and he's part of that. At the same time, like you were saying, even if Belfort became the champion, these guys are going to be knocking on his door. Like easily the top 5, 6 guys in the middleweight division. These guys could easily come in and on their best day win the title. They're all like great guys from the likes of Luke Rockhold. We got Jacare Souza. We got Yoel Romero. We got obviously Machida. We've got the guy I just mentioned, Gegard Mousasi. Like all these guys in the mix of it. Tim Kennedy on a good day could easily be the champion. So it's a very stacked division, Steve. I really think that anybody can win that title this year. So
definitely stacked division, and it's anyone's game at this point. With
and for a quick plug, we got Romero against Jacare Souza. That's one fight to look out for this year.
Oh, definitely.
So, that's definitely going to be one to look out for, and best look for Jacare to display his jiu-jitsu, and obviously Romero to try and go for the takedown due to his wrestling background, being a silver medalist in the Olympics. So the same again, those two guys there, they could easily be champion by the end of this year, depending on if they was given the chance.
Yeah,
for some reason, I strongly believe that Weidman will lose his title this year. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, like definitely Weidman is on borrowed time. I respected Weidman, but as a champion, we all know how he got that title and how he could lose it.
Yeah. He's not really showcased it, too well. He's not really defended it, as much as we've
let's dissect that for a minute. He got the title by Silva's kind of cockiness.
Yeah.
The rematch, Silva broke his leg.
Yeah, so
and there you go. And
in those two fights, he hasn't really displayed, championship form. Like he's a good fighter, he's well rounded. There are a few holes in his game, but for the most part, he's pretty much covered. But like you said, yeah, it's not really a case of he is, the best in that division because of the unfortunate things that Silva was doing and what happened. So
yeah.
And who else did he face? Did he already face Machida? He had a match against somebody else. I'm trying to think.
The name escapes me at this point, but all I know is it's going to be an interesting few weeks because depending on Weidman's injury, whether it's a knee or a rib, and a couple of weeks.
And you was having this discussion before. We strongly believe that Luke Rockhold could easily, take that title as well.
Oh, Rockhold is definitely at the door. All he has to do is walk in.
So like I said, man, that title's up for grabs. And same with Jones. Like what do you think will happen with Rumble? It was said that Rashad predicted a first round, second round knockout. And he actually said it on that Ariel Owani, show, that he was going to dominate Jones. Do you think that Rumble will be the first guy that will dethrone Jones?
There's potential. I can definitely see potential. Rashad, I haven't seen forever. I don't know what Rashad is up to these days, but he definitely knows what he's talking about, being the guy who has had some big fights and put out moments in UFC history that will stand time.
Absolutely, Rashad's one of the best, and he fights in the same camp as Johnson, the Black Zillions. The thing I can't understand about some of these training camps, when they're asked if they'll fight one another, they've always got this whole brother code thing, and they don't believe in fighting each other, which I've never understood, because it's like Cain Velasquez and Daniel Cormier. They will never fight each other, and I just don't see why, because you're in a sport where it's everybody for themselves. And if it did come to that, you mean to tell me you'll bitch out just because of that, that respect? If that's the case, why did you get into the sport? And that's all I gotta say on that. It's not my ignorance, it's just more of like, it makes sense for them to fight regardless of their friends, family, or whatever the case may be, best man.
That's the same thing with Rory and GSP.
Yeah.
And
I believe, when you think about it, because there are fighters that have respect for for each other, but they still throw hands, So I just think it's part of the game.
Yeah, and to me, you can have all the respect in the world, but when it comes down to it, bottom line, it's competition.
Yeah, that's what it is. And you know, when a title's at stake, that's life changing for not only your family, you know, just your legacy that you leave behind as a fighter. You know, to think if, for example, Cormier had a shot at Velasquez, and that was his only time in his career where he could have been a champion, and he turned it down because of this whole, you know, bro code thing. You know, that is something that he'll look back on and most likely regret, because that was a potential, you know, opportunity that he could have grasped, and it could have turned out that he could have won. But yeah, and I hear in the mix of things that he's, you know, Cormier is scheduled to face Gustafsson. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but that's the rumor floating around. So,
Yeah, I heard that as well, and apparently,
yeah.
apparently Dana has shot that down and said it won't happen. But
yeah, because stylistically, like when I think of that as a matchup, you know, it's not, to me, it's not as appealing as some of the other potential fight cards. So, you know, it's not really one for me personally. What would be an interesting matchup? I don't know if you would agree with this. Would be like
definitely, yeah.
Against Rashad Evans or something, you know.
Yeah,
and that would be an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
You know, two wrestlers. Obviously, I imagine Cormier is better, but you know, even still, Rashad's a very complete fighter. I think, you know, he would give Cormier a good, you know, a good stiff test, but I don't know.
The one piece of news.
I look forward to,
Sorry, go ahead.
I look forward to the Belfort fight.
Yeah, definitely. Me too.
If that does happen, and if it doesn't happen, if I could throw someone else in there to face Belfort, I hope Luke Rockhold gets another shot at him.
Me as well, and
I feel like it would play different.
Because as of right now, the Rousey has been bumped up to main event, and the other piece of news.
For some of the fans.
Sorry.
That's a little bit of a disappointment to some of the fans.
So. Definitely,
yeah. As draw as Rousey is, you know, without that other original main event, you know, the card won't be as hyped up to be as what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
The piece of news that I'm trying to get out here is Carlos Condit on his way back. Apparently the return date is sometime in May. What are your thoughts on that?
I believe you have something to say about my boy Tyrone Woodley.
Yes.
You want to tell them, Steve?
I was shocked myself when I let you know. Woodley is out with a broken foot. He broke his foot in, I believe, 3 places in the first round of his fight. And I watched that fight, and it didn't seem like he exerted himself. But
in the Gastelum fight, right?
Yeah.
Gastelum missed weight by 10 pounds. Clearly
by 10 pounds. And so, honestly, that $9,000 that went to Woodley as part of the rules of UFC, Woodley didn't even want.
That's what I'm saying.
But like I said, how the way I have to watch that fight back and see where he kind of went wrong and broke his foot, but in any event, broken foot.
Kelvin Gastelum, you know, just by that 10-pound weight cut, like, you know, the 10 pounds that he missed, you know, I was just thinking, I think he'd be better at light heavyweight. I mean, it just seems like a more fitted weight class for that guy, you know.
Yeah, and Dana during the post-fight.
Even middleweight, you know, just one or the other.
Dana during the post-fight actually said that Gastelum's going up no matter what. He has no choice in the matter.
So are you thinking more middleweight, or are you thinking light heavyweight?
Light heavyweight.
For some reason. Because he's a big boy, you know, like he's still a young guy, you know, like myself, like he's like 22, so, you know, actually no, he's not 22, I believe he's 24, but even still very, very young in the, you know, mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
I see him being light heavyweight. He looks very big for a welterweight, you know. I was like thinking to myself, this guy.
Yeah, the welterweight I believe are 170, so light heavyweight would be between 205, because he clocked in at 181, I believe.
Well, the weight cut is like, you know, at max 204 to 206, you know, which is acceptable. But obviously the dead-on weight cut is 205, so. You know, so they can get away with the 1 pound difference. If I'm not mistaken, Henderson, you know, Dan Henderson, that is, against Cormier, he weighed just about 200 pounds. It was 199 pounds facing Cormier, so there's a lot of weight given up in that fight, and we saw how that went down. Hendo just got completely demolished by Cormier, so
Absolutely.
you know, weight has a big part in it sometimes. You know, it's an added advantage, and of course, you know, youth as well.
Yeah,
Experience is great, but the speed goes away. Like, he'll always have that knockout power, Hendo, but the speed, you know, he's not as sharp as he once was. Like, the reflexes, the speed, stuff like that.
yeah, being I believe he's about 43 or 44.
He still is one of the most elite fighters. You know, no one can take.
Oh, no one can take that from him for sure.
That big left, like, you know, he'll knock anybody out.
Yeah, like basically, if you take him too lightly, he'll just knock you out with his left.
So you can never underestimate the power that Hendo carries, because no matter how old the fucker gets, he will always have that knockout power.
Absolutely.
As they say, he's a puncher's chance from winning. So, you know, he's always had that about him. And obviously the impressive wrestling, you know, so I don't know, man. But yeah, I don't have much to say else on anything else, but this is, like I said, I look forward to what's to come of the middleweight division. For me, would be the most interesting, as well as the light heavyweight. What about you, Steve? There's not too much action going on in the heavyweights, but as you know, I'm a big fan of Travis Brown. I'd love to see him face a Junior Dos Santos. It would be a stiff test for him. If he could not get past him, then I believe he should be in the title picture again. But I don't know what's happening with Travis, but I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, just very quickly before we got into the whole Woodley part of it, I wanted to get your thoughts on Carlos Condit coming back in May.
No, I was just saying in reference, what I was trying to cover earlier when I said that to you about Woodley, I wasn't referring to like the broken toe. I was gonna get your opinion on, you know, you didn't like the fact that Woodley beat your boy Condit. So I was thinking, you know, would you want to see Condit get back at Woodley at some point?
You know what? I'm hoping they go that direction, and because it would make sense to me. But I'm not taking anything away from Woodley since Carlos had to take that time off.
Yeah.
Because that injury that Carlos had is no joke, and you have to really work on getting back to where you were. So if it happens, it happens.
I just want to say, you heard it here first from me. I am predicting that by the end of this year, give or take, that Hector Lombard, if he's not in the title picture, he will be champion. He'll either be number one contender or he'll be champion. That's if he gets past Rory McDonald, who's a very talented young man. So
yeah, Rory and Hector at 186 fight, I believe.
Hector at the moment is looking, I wouldn't say unbeatable, because looking at his last fight, he kind of looked past that guy, but he still got the victory, but it was, you know, via decision. But you got to think Hector's, you know, he's one bad motherfucker in that division. You know, I wouldn't look past Hector one bit. He's not someone you'd sleep on. So I really strongly believe, you know, he is championship material, and I think he can be the champion. That's just my prediction. Steve, what about you? Who do you think will take home the welterweight title by the end of this year? Because, you know, obviously,
I'm hoping Rory. I wasn't a big fan of Rory, but he's changed that because of his past fights. His most recent fight pretty much changed that for me, and he needs to have some kind of gold around his waist soon.
But picture this, Steve. Picture this. Imagine a stand-up fight between Lawler and Lombard. Like, you know, that would just be.
That would be one amazing fight for the ages, and if that happens, all the UFC fans around the world win.
Yeah, and you know, if they could like punch each other's skulls in somehow without not getting, well, obviously both guys possess knockout power.
Yeah.
If they could get past the second and third round, that would shock me to bits. Just the power that these guys carry. Yeah, because we know how bad, like, you know, ruthless Robbie Lawler is. Like, that guy, you know, a kick or a punch should put you asleep, you know. And Lombard's just got these powerful hands and that, you know, he's got that explosive punching power. So, you know, like I said, that would be a nice matchup to see. And same again, Rory McDonald is also a threat to Robbie Lawler. You know, that he's not to look past either. But I feel like Lombard will get past Rory McDonald. That's just what I think. What about you, Steve?
I couldn't agree more with you. I'm on the same wavelength as you, and I'm just happy.
So you think Lombard will be McDonald? You believe that too?
Yeah, I'm just happy that basically 186 is Montreal bound, so it's pretty close to where I am in Toronto. Toronto needs another pay-per-view, so hopefully it'll happen soon. I'm praying Dana can hook that up.
I strongly believe Lombard really wants that title. Like, you know, if he was to do it, it's either now or never, obviously given his age.
Yes, sir.
He's in his late 30s, I believe. He's like 36, 37, something like that. You know, for an athlete, that's getting up there a little bit. And then I really think now is the time for Lombard, if he wants to show that he's still one of the best in the world, obviously looking at his record, he's amazing. You know, this is the time for him to shine and to prove it to everybody, is to get past McDonald and go on and win that championship, you know, give or take. So, and same again, you know, when he came into the UFC, just that fight with, did he face Tim Bosch? Is that who he lost to begin with on his debut or something like that? There's a lot of hype surrounding him. I think he faced Tim Bosch or somebody.
Bosch was on the 183 card, I remember, but I'm not sure who
he lost to Tim Bosch via decision. I remember that. You got to bear sight in mind, people, and let me tell you this: nobody in the history of Hector Lombard's career has submitted the guy or knocked the guy out, and that's something you want to take in account.
Yeah, that makes you a
never been finished at all, any way, shape, or form, and has never been submitted. That is one tough fucker. And one thing you got to remember, he's got a very solid judo background as well.
Yeah,
not a lot of fighters.
It makes him a big target.
Yeah, not a lot of fighters be using judo, apart from the likes of like Ronda Rousey and a few other names to throw in there. But Lombard is one of the Mao guys, obviously in MMA, who uses judo effectively. You know, and like I said, he's quick. He's a complete fighter, and he's got that explosive punching power that not a lot of athletes possess. So, you know, I really feel like Lombard could be champion this year.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, this has been a great talk, and I think we're going to cut it at that, because I've got plenty more to talk about in the MMA world, and lots to talk about in the WWE.
Yeah, you get lost in the conversation.
Yeah, you know what? Like, again, you and I, our last video in collaborating, we were in the high 30-minute, and now it's coming up on 28 minutes.
You know, for all those that have stayed tuned in this video, you know, I want to appreciate it. You know, I want to say we appreciate it, sorry.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, remember to subscribe. My channel, feel free to subscribe to that. I'm looking to come back and, you know, do MMA-based videos and other things like wrestling.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, like,
Kevin Walsh coming back.
There's already videos up as we speak, but the main one I'm looking forward to bringing you guys is with my buddy here, Steve. That's the more anticipated video that I look to, you know, put more effort into. So, that was promised on Steve's, you know, previous video.
Mm-hmm.
So, you heard it here first, and, you know, if you stay tuned to this video as long as you have, you know, it just means that you're great supporters and you just love MMA as much as we do. So, you know,
definitely.
Everything's appreciated. So, you know,
very much appreciated.
You know, it's always good to talk MMA with anybody. And if you're as big a fan as we are, and Steve obviously being a much bigger fan, he's been a longer fan, you know, we're always welcoming you to talk about it.
Yeah, comments, questions, either for myself or Kevin here. Put them in this comment board, and there you go.
Send us some video requests, you know, like maybe some topics that you'd
definitely video requests. I can always use that, and
I mean, that does it, man. So
that does it for me. Kev, any last words?
Any last words? Just stay loyal to the videos. You know, like we promise to, you know, switch things up and make it an interesting year. You know, what it is, you know, life always gets in the way, as we've said many times, with like a scratch record. That's obviously put us, you know, on the backseat. But if you remember, if anyone remembers who I was, you know, I was relevant, you know, a long time ago. Not so much nowadays, because I kind of left without saying anything a few times, to be honest. and I'll try to be more consistent in future reference. But you know, with Steve, he loves to make videos, you know, on a consistent basis. So I strongly believe this man deserves a lot more subscribers. So definitely hit that subscribe button and show him the support that he deserves.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated. All right.
MMA or professional wrestling. So definitely hit that subscribe button, like the video, share it to a friend, and just bring everybody, you know, in on everything we do, basically. And we're all for it.
Well, that's it for me. I couldn't top that what Kev said. So, like he said, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Adios.
Peace.